Hi everyone. I can't believe I'm making this video, but I need to get it out of my system because if I don't, I might actually go insane and not be able to move on with my life. So, not me starting off the video in the most dramatic fashion possible, but it is Leo season after all, so if you guys could just give me a little bit of grace considering that it is Leo season. So I'm filming on photo booth on my MacBook right now because my camera actually finally broke the other day. It's fixable, like there's a little ribbon thing that snapped that I would just need to get replaced or pay someone to replace it, but honestly, I don't know if I even want to do that or if I just want to go ahead and buy a new camera. So yeah, I need to actually decide what I'm going to do regarding that situation after the filming of this video. But you know what? It's kind of perfect because I feel like this little grainy photo booth quality is almost like very appropriate for this video because it's pretty much on par with the quality of most H.O.T video footage, music videos, live performances, all of that stuff that we have available to us. Okay, so where do I begin? I have this, like, what do they call it? Anxious avoidant attachment love style, almost, when it comes to H.O.T. Well, let me backtrack a little bit. So I first discovered H.O.T when I was around 14, 15, so like 2005-ish. I've been a fan for a long time, okay? Like, I am team H.O.T forever, all the way. But yeah, so I discovered them at first when I was in high school in the mid-2000s somehow, because this was the dark ages, before social media. I somehow stumbled across the Aya music video on YouTube, like baby YouTube, right after the platform was launched. I found the Aya music video, which is the lead single from their fourth album. It had such an impact on me. Like, I don't know if validating is the right word. It was just so needed for me at that time. Oh my god, I'm like choking up. I'm not gonna cry in this video. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, if you want to go listen to Aya, I will link the Aya music video down below if you're interested in checking that out. It's gonna be like 2 pixel quality, I'm sorry, just to forewarn you. I will try to find the best one out there. I mean, there's not many, to be honest with you. But yeah, just to forewarn you, it is going to be like 2 pixel quality because that is the best that we're gonna get as old school H.O.T fans, because SM Entertainment refuses to properly preserve H.O.T's legacy by doing the bare minimum of just releasing high resolution videos of their performances and stuff. Like, seriously, it's not that hard. Gosh, it almost seems intentional. Almost seems like there's an active agenda to erase or suppress the legacy of this band entirely. Allegedly. But yeah, so the Aya music video, I really needed to see that as, an East Asian girl growing up in America, going through my formative years, dealing with all the insecurities of being a minority in the States, not being seen as the standard of beauty, or just like all that was beautiful and cool. It was not reflected back to me in my image. I mean, we had like Lucy Liu and all of the kung fu action stars and things like that, of course, but there wasn't anyone really in music that was like representing Asian people like that. The only one who comes to mind immediately who is part of like a hugely commercially successful musical act in the West at the time is Chad Hugo. Chad Hugo was part of the Neptunes, which is like Pharrell Williams' old band. I don't know if we would call it a band. It was like a trio of producers, but he, like, even then, he was not like the most prominent member, of course. It was Pharrell. So yeah, I really, really was just like hungry. I really, really needed to see people that looked like me, like East Asian, even though H.O.T were boys, but people that looked like they could be my brothers. To see people like that being presented as like rock stars, big pop stars on equal footing, or even bigger footing, in my opinion, in H.O.T's case, as an NSYNC or a Britney Spears or something like that. And so that video, or that song in particular, was just a huge like turning point in my identity. And that song is actually one of their more aggressive songs, I would say, in their entire catalog. It's basically a rock song. So it was just exactly what I needed to see at that moment in time. And yeah, from then on, I was hooked. So why did I title this video The Agony of Being an H.O.T fan? Well, fellow fans know exactly what I'm talking about, so this is not going to be news to them if they're watching. Where do I even begin? You know, there was just so many like injustices that they suffered at the hands of their label. The working conditions, first of all, were like horrible, basically like akin to human trafficking, if you ask me, which is just my opinion, but you know, that's word to Britney Spears. The pay was like a joke for being literally the biggest breakout Korean band in history. I mean, they were the ones to really put Korea on the map, seriously, as a formidable opponent to the Western entertainment industry, or like contemporary music industry, which was and is mainly dominated by the US. All of H.O.T's albums went platinum, by the way, like not just in Korea, China, Taiwan. They were very, very popular in other Asian countries as well. They even won an MTV Asia award, which, like, by the way, this is another thing. Why does everyone forget that they won an MTV Music Award? Active suppression of the legacy by SM Town, allegedly. But yeah, so they won in 1999 for the music video for We Are the Future, which was off of their second album. They won in the category for International Viewers' Choice or something like that, which of course they did. Don't you love how like America or the English music is seen as the normal standard category and everyone else just gets lumped into international? Love that for us. I will link the music video for We Are the Future down below as well if you want to listen to that. If I had to pick one song that really, really represented H.O.T's entire philosophy, what they were all about, it would have to be We Are the Future. Such a powerful track. And we might get into like the individual song content or like lyrical matter later in a different video, because I don't want this video to be like 3 hours long. But yeah, so sorry, I keep jumping around. Like I mentioned, I had discovered H.O.T after the fact of their disbandment in 2001. So it was already 2005, 2006 by the time I was bumping H.O.T in my rural NJ high school. So in a way, I feel like I was actually kind of spared the brunt of the trauma and pain that the bulk of the fans who were following the band in real time must have experienced. So I think like if you just do the math, the average H.O.T fan that was actually following them along step by step as their careers were unfolding were probably on average 5 to 7 years older than me. I mean, there's H.O.T fans of every age, but just like the bulk of the people that were actually there in real time were probably like, 5 years older than me on average. By the time I discovered their work, most of the media storm and public uprising, really, that immediately followed their disbandment had already pretty much died down by that point. You know, it was the mid-2000s, so at that point, Kangta and Heejun had already embarked on their solo careers, and the remaining members, Tony, Woohyuk, and Jaewon, the only members that really matter in my humble opinion. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to be too shady today. Those three had left SM Entertainment, which is the label that H.O.T was managed under. SM managed a bunch of other huge first-generation K-pop acts as well, such as BoA and whatnot. So those three left SM, good for them, and formed a new group called JTL, which is basically H.O.T minus Kangta and Heejun, which is fine with me. JTL went and signed to a different record label, and, you know, Heejun and Kangta were doing their solo careers. Everyone's doing their own thing, and everything was, you know, calm and kosher for a while. Actually, no, it was not. It really wasn't kosher at all, actually, because there was just all types of, like, just sabotage and trifling shit going on behind the scenes, mostly on the part of, you guessed it, SM Entertainment, particularly an individual by the name of Lee Soo-man, who is, like, the head honcho executive producer over at SM. Lee Soo-man, you can go to hell. That's right. I have absolutely nothing in my heart for Lee Soo-man. Okay, I'm trying to gloss over some things because I'm really not trying to relive all of the nitty-gritty details and sink into a years-long depression here. But yeah, just basically like deliberate, malicious sabotage, trying to get JTL's songs and videos blocked from being played on certain major networks that were in order to like remove them as competition from SM artists. Trifling shit, right? But JTL, my boys, okay, Woohyuk, Tony, and J1 rose like a phoenix from the ashes. They rose like air, I rise, and they actually went on to win an MTV Asia Award again in 2003. It was like, I forget, Korean Viewers' Choice Award or something, which, again, of course. So I actually found the clip where they won and accepted the award at the 2003 MTV Awards. I didn't realize that JTL was actually up against essentially a bunch of SM entertainment artists in this category, including their former bandmate Kangta. Like Kangta on his solo-ish, okay? The scandal. So JTL is not with SM Entertainment at this point. Remember, Lee Soo-man tried to squash them, but he failed, which just makes this moment that much sweeter. So I'm gonna insert the clip here, basically just for the purposes of gloating. Enjoy!
The nominees for Favorite Artist Korea are G.O.D, JTF, 신화, 강타. And the winner goes to JTL!
Hi, we are JTL from Korea. This is a big surprise for us, and we would like to dedicate this award to the fans in Korea, and also thanks to MTV for inviting us here.
Why would the three best members of H.O.T not be the crowd favorite? Like, you really thought that blocking them off the major networks was going to change the fact that people loved them, Lee Soo-man? You thought. So in addition to that, to add salt to the wounds, there was also low-key, like, some sort of brotherly betrayal going on there as well. I feel like Kangta and Heejun staying loyal to the SM label while the other three were, like, ousted, basically, for not being deemed as commercially viable, which, please, it's comical, really. We know that Woohyuk basically was and is the real leader of H.O.T, okay? Like, come on. Heejun was technically the leader because he's, like, the oldest. He's the big oppa and everything, but Woohyuk carried the entire group. Like, let's be real here. Why would they rely so much on... Why would they insert a Woohyuk dance break or the signature Woohyuk scream rapping verse? Why would they insert that into pretty much every single hit song and performance that they had if he wasn't the actual backbone of the entire band? By the way, I'm talking about, like, Woohyuk had this really unique scream rapping style that to this day I've never heard anything like it. It is my favorite rapping style, pretty much. It's just the timbre of the voice. I just love the distortion that he put in his voice and the passionate delivery. It really makes the message hit home so hard. I cannot get enough of it. He stopped doing it actually when he eventually became a solo act after JTL sort of dissolved. And I mean, like, he still raps today, but just in a normal voice now. It's fine, I guess. Like, I low-key kind of hate it. No, I'm kidding. I don't hate it. But like, it's okay. I understand. It's probably really straining on your throat to rap like that for decades and decades. So I understand. Like, maybe he just had to stop at some point. I just wish he would go back to the scream rapping, though, because it sounds so good. But anyway, back to H.O.T. I just want to know, does Woohyuk's back hurt from basically carrying the entirety of this group for the past 20 somewhat odd years? Like, because Woohyuk's back must be hurting. Like, somebody get that man a chiropractor, please. Between doing actual backflips on stage and just like to this day being the biggest proponent of the H.O.T legacy, Woohyuk is always representing H.O.T everywhere he goes, like on his social media, in his merch, every television appearance that he goes on. He's always repping H.O.T, you know, always keeping their memory alive because, you know, SM Entertainment won't do their job, so Woohyuk has to do it for them. Yeah, so Lee Soo-man, you and your entire camp, you are absolutely appalling. The more I find out as the years go on, the more I'm just disgusted and appalled. And I'm definitely not alone. You guys had that boy up there doing actual backflips, okay, literally bending over backwards on stage, giving his blood, sweat, and tears, okay, prodigy level dance skills to make money and fame and prestige for your label, landing in the emergency room for work exhaustion at 19, 20 years old. Like, what? What? People are so strong and resilient at that age. Like, do you know what it takes to make a 19-year-old collapse of work exhaustion? That's hella young. It's crazy. And I'm convinced that this happened like way more times than was actually officially reported in the media. I 100% am convinced that this was a regular occurrence, not just for Woohyuk, but for like all the boys. So you come to this boy after the wrap up of the 5th album, Outside Castle. So basically what happened, this is 2001, was that Heejun and Kangta were either already getting paid more or at least like for future projects being offered way more lucrative deals than the other 3 members. You know what? I said I wasn't going to go into detail, but I just need to read these numbers to you so that you can grasp the sheer audacity and absurdity of the situation. 10,000 US dollars per 1 million records sold was the contract that was offered to the JTL boys after the 5th album in 2001. I'm so confused. Are you confused? I'm confused. Let's pull out the calculator. Let's calculate how many profits per record that each of them would stand to make with this kind of contract. This is after 5 years of already solidifying their place as the biggest pop stars in Korea. So 10,000 divided by 1 million, 1 cent per album sold. Woohyuk said you can miss me with that. Woohyuk said you can miss me. We are so good on that. Me, Tony, and Jaewon will just go over here and form our own group. Clearly our lives, like, never mind our work, our lives are clearly not seen as being worth anything over here. So you can keep that, SM. We are so good on that. And so the saddest part of this story is obviously the rift that kind of formed between the members at the time, between JTL and the remaining 2 that stayed at SM to embark on their solo careers. You know, looking back on it, if I can just speak for myself personally, I don't necessarily begrudge Heejun and Kangta for staying on board with SM at the time, because you have to take into consideration the fact that they were still all very young, you know, in their early 20s. Listen, everyone had their own careers and life after H.O.T fame to worry about. And, you know, the important thing is that the guys seem to be fine with each other today. They seem to have patched things up. That little period of a sibling rivalry, they seem to have grown out of it and probably come to the collective realization that it didn't really have to do with them per se. It was more just like the devils over at SM Entertainment. It seems like water under the bridge at this point, so whatever. If the guys are cool, with each other, then I'm cool with it. I'm still not following Kangta or Heejun on social media, but and they eventually did have their big blowout reunion concert in 2019, which was huge. I'm sure it was really cathartic for all the fans that were able to go. Again, would not have happened without Woohyuk. I'm convinced Woohyuk, I mean, I'm not saying props to all of them for getting together and making sure that it finally happened. You know, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. But I'm also saying that, like, I'm pretty sure 90% of the driving force behind it was Woohyuk. Yeah, Woohyuk had to definitely get the hoes together. Like, when are we going to do this? We're in our 40s at this point. If we don't do it now, are you sure you want to wait until we turn 50? Like, are you sure that's what you want to happen here? Sorry, I had to change locations because of the lighting situation. It's getting darker out right now, but yeah, so where was I? So do you want to know the craziest thing? The saga is never ending. Even then, like even in freaking 2018, 2019, SM still couldn't just let H.O.T live. Like SM just couldn't leave H.O.T in peace to do this concert for their loyal, hurting fans, okay? When I tell you the heartache is on another level. Tell me why somebody tried to sue Woohyuk in freaking 2018 for his planned usage of the H.O.T logo in the upcoming concert. Like, it wasn't Lee Soo-man this time. It was like some former CEO of SM Entertainment who apparently owns the right to the trademark for H.O.T that doesn't expire until 2028. First of all, I don't even know, like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the H.O.T, like the name of the group? Are you talking about this thing right here? This little, this symbol logo thing that they had emblazoned on their CDs and clothes and stuff. They had a couple of symbols. I really like this one. It just looks like really simple and sleek and cool. Like I want to like draw this on my eye for a makeup look sometime. Ooh, are you gonna sue me too for that, SM? But yeah, Woohyuk said catch me outside. Like a true king does. Woohyuk said catch me outside. Absolutely not. Like, you will not keep doing this to us. We are not 20 years old anymore. We're not going to bend to your will. It was dropped, the lawsuit. Nothing came of it in the end. Corny SM. That's what you guys are. I just don't understand. Can someone explain to me, like, what is the motive of such a move in the first place? Outside of just pure pettiness and a nasty power play. Like, you realize that they can do a reunion show without the logo if need be, right? So let's say H.O.T reunited and they didn't use the logo for like the props and imagery and stuff for legal reasons. Yeah, I mean, that would be hella annoying. But did you think that people were going to be like, ugh, no logo, I'm not going to this shit? Did you think that the fans were really not going to come out in droves? In droves? For this reunion concert that they waited 25 years for over a logo? Like, I don't make it make sense. Where's the logic here? Or did you just not want the reunion to happen because you're afraid that if H.O.T experiences too much of a resurgence in popularity, that people might start to remember all the heinous BS that you put those boys through? I'm just saying, it sounds like you're afraid for your own neck. And I don't know, this is all my conjecture, my speculation at the end of the day, but is that not the real reason, though, why you pulled such a stunt? I mean, you can just come out and admit it, SM, okay? The jig is up. Like, we remember either way, so I don't understand why they would even try to pull something like that. Okay, in conclusion, so I don't even know how to wrap this up. As you can see, there was just a lot of, like, unjustness and unfinished business when it comes to H.O.T's story, culminating in their very premature and unexpected disbandment, which was just like so heartbreaking and devastating for all of their fans, not to mention, of course, just as painful, probably even more, for the guys themselves. And I'm sure that for as many of the stories and tidbits that we as the fan collective have managed to gather over the years, we still, I'm sure, don't know half of the story, right? Just all the crazy shit that went on behind the scenes. In all probability, I'm gonna go ahead and say that we probably will never know the full story, and some of you may not like to hear this, but I'm not sure that a lot of it is really our business, to be fair. That being said, it definitely does add just another layer of frustration to the whole thing, but life goes on, and we move, right? There is no other choice but to move forward, because what did H.O.T say? We are the future. Exactly. And that is going to be the end of this video. Can I just say that I am so gutted, like I can't even cap. I feel like somebody took an ice cream scoop and scooped out my entire insides, and now I need to go have like at least 3 bubble tea drinks in order to self-soothe myself as I re-listen to H.O.T's entire discography alone in my apartment on my 32nd birthday. So I am gonna make another video about H.O.T. It might not be my very next video because I have makeup that I need to review and stuff, so we'll see which one comes first. But don't worry, the next H.O.T centered video is going to be a lot more lighthearted. I am going to be ranking H.O.T albums, like basically in my own preferred order. I love them all, of course, but I think it'll be fun to just kind of go through their entire discography and just revisit like which songs mean the most to me or what I liked most about each era, etc. There's only 5 albums, so it's not going to be too long of a video, hopefully. It's such a tragedy. Like, we were so robbed. The rest of the world may never truly comprehend. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. Way more than I was looking forward to filming this video, to be honest with you. Like, we don't have to focus anymore on the heavy, painful stuff. I just felt kind of like an obligation to give a general overview, including the not so savory parts of their history in this video, because H.O.T has just given me so much strength over the years, you know? They've given us so much through their music and even just their personal conduct over the years. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and definitely check out the links to some of their videos that I'm going to be posting in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!